Have you ever wondered why some people install software updates the moment they appear? The notification pops up. Most people ignore it. Some wait a few days. Others wait weeks. But then there's a certain type of person who immediately taps "Install now" without hesitation. No research. No waiting for reviews. No checking Reddit to see if the update broke someone's device. They simply trust the process. And psychologically, that's more interesting than you might think. Because software updates aren't just about technology. They're about how people respond to change. And once you understand that, you'll start noticing a pattern everywhere. Not just in technology, but in careers, relationships, business, and life itself. Psychologists often study a personality trait called openness to experience. This trait measures how willing someone is to embrace new ideas, new experiences, and uncertainty. People who score high in openness tend to be naturally curious. They're attracted to novelty. They enjoy learning. And they generally feel more comfortable stepping into unfamiliar territory. Now think about what a software update really is. It's a change. Sometimes it's a small change. Sometimes it's a major redesign. Sometimes it introduces features nobody asked for. And sometimes it completely disrupts the way people are used to doing things. That's exactly why many people avoid updates. Their brains prefer familiarity. Psychologists call this the status quo bias. Human beings naturally prefer things to remain the way they are. The current version feels safe, predictable, comfortable. Updating introduces uncertainty. What if my battery gets worse? What if my favorite feature disappears? What if something breaks? These questions create hesitation. But update-first people often think differently. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, they focus on what could improve. Their attention naturally shifts toward possibility rather than risk. And this next part explains why some people become obsessed with installing updates. Psychologists have found that anticipation itself can be rewarding. When people expect something new, the brain releases dopamine. Not because the reward has arrived, but because it might arrive. That's why some people get genuinely excited about software updates. The update represents discovery, new features, new designs, new capabilities. Their brain enjoys the anticipation of improvement. But here's where it gets even more interesting. People who constantly update their devices often have a broader life philosophy. They tend to view change as something that should be embraced rather than feared. They're usually the first to test new apps, the first to try new technology, the first to experiment with new tools. And sometimes, they're the first to adapt when the world changes. But there is a downside. People who constantly chase the newest thing can become trapped in what psychologists call novelty seeking. The endless pursuit of what's new. What's next? What's different? Sometimes they spend so much time updating their tools that they forget to use them. And that's a lesson that extends far beyond technology. Because life isn't just about upgrading. It's about applying what you've already learned. So what does it mean if you're the kind of person who installs every software update immediately? It doesn't necessarily mean you're a tech geek. It may mean you're naturally curious, comfortable with change, optimistic about improvement, and willing to explore uncertainty before everyone else. Because at its core, a software update is more than a software update. It's a tiny psychological test. A test that reveals whether your brain sees change as a threat or an opportunity.